hate everyone.
Says we're live. We're live. Randall Thor, I repeat, it says we're live.
Live, Dealer Gaming.
We're live, but we're all so dead. Welcome to yet another RDX podcast, guys. We appreciate you guys showing up so much. We've got so much great stuff to cover today. Already 200 before we even get started tuning in. So thank you all for what you do. I think that's an advertisement playing in my ear hole there. Thank you all for what you do. We've got a ton of great topics, a phenomenal panel. We got some Death Stranding gameplay here, to kind of give you guys an idea of what this game's like, what it's about, and as we kind of offer some opinions on it now that we've played it, as well as a ton of XO19 news, Project Scarlett, new games, Xbox update, PlayStation 5, and more, all from the perspective of people that might prefer the Xbox platform. That's what this podcast is all about. So thank you all for tuning in. If you didn't already, hit that like button, share this out where you can, help us grow. We do appreciate it. Cold Eastwood, we're going to do some intros, do some shout-outs, get into some topics, man. How have you been?
Good. Let's do some intros. Zucker, how you been? What you been playing? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, thanks. You always go to me first.
That's because you're up top. You're up top here on the YouTube thing there. Go ahead.
Top, yeah. It's been awesome. Been playing a lot of Need for Speed, so why not? It's fun.
Need for Speed Heat.
Yeah, but this week is really awesome, and there's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. So thanks for having me on.
Yep. D-Batch, what have you been up to, bro?
With the kids. Can't even lie, man. My son's just been taking all my time, but I did get some gaming time in this weekend with Death Stranding. I can't wait to talk about that. I'll say this, my feet hurt from playing the
game. Your feet hurt from playing the game. All right. Fonzarelli, how you been, man?
Hey, I've survived the onslaught of Kojima fans, and I'm here to talk about it.
All right. Beaner in the super chat says that no nut.
Oh no!
I don't even want to. Sorry, I can't do it.
Okay, I'll go ahead and read it. He said No Nut November was going well until RDX notification.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks, Beaner. I appreciate that.
All right, cool.
That's interesting, man. Randall Thor, how have you been, sir?
Doing good, Dealer. One delivery at a time, taking it easy.
You delivering? What do you? Delivering L's to yourself, or what do you? Never mind. We'll talk about
delivering. I'm delivering happiness and likes to all those around.
Hey. All right. Well, thanks, Santa Claus. Do appreciate it. xCloud Tim Dog, how you been, bro?
Good. We're 3 days away from XO19. Going to be a great show tonight. Happy to be here.
Hell yeah! Shout out to
2 days.
Shout out to Mark Sutton. We've also got Ashtray Gaming. What's going on, brother? Tiger Blood, Lethal Pampa, #1 moderator in the universe. We've also got Chris713, Robert Cummings, channel member. We've got, of course, So Shady. Thank you so much, Doggy Dog 420. We've got Matt J in the chat as well. Or Matt J, he's always here. I'll just call him out preemptively. Do want to say thank you guys for checking us out. Zalker, how have you been, sir?
I'm doing really good, man. Been playing a lot of games, including Death Stranding. So, I'm not going to review it through trailers. I'm going to tell you guys what I think. And Rand's been playing it a lot too. It's kind of been me and Rand playing it a lot, I think, in this chat. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll talk about it. I'm sure we're going to trail off and talk, and Fonz is going to stab us. It's going to be great.
Well, hopefully he gets the jugular. I also want to give a shout out to some of my patrons, the best supporters in the universe, guys. You make it all go around. There's a patron tier for shout-outs. The least I can do, man. You guys are absolutely fantastic. But every single patron is, of course, on that little scroll thingy at the top there. Thank you all for what you do. That updates every single month around the 1st. So if you want to join, that link is down below. If you want to become a channel member, hit that join button. Buy the subscribe button. Thank you so much. So let's start with Foreign Object. Thank you so much, Teo. Friendly Combatant. We've also got John Blue, Darth Chaos, Prython, Vec Boss Deviator X, Obi-Wan FTW, another moderator, Tasteless Genie. We've also got Scout Trooper 74, Centurion 1307 of LegionGamer.com, Real Deal Neil, Suicide King, Michael Bowen, Guillermo Cavillo, hopefully he's in the chat tonight, Chanagram, Wilmy Hood, The Bad Boy Live, Naughty Nubbin. We've also got Alfonso Hogan, A Squad, Slim Killer 73, and Mo Cool Kid, just to name those in the shout out tier and stuff like that. Thank you guys for what you do. I do appreciate it. You guys are absolutely fantastic. We did announce a giveaway winner of Call of Duty last week. So, again, here in the next couple weeks, we begin away more software. And right now, really, what we're going to kind of go over and let more people stream in is Death Stranding, review impressions, kind of what our thoughts on the game. Is it really trash? What's happened with it? Where we're at with the game? How much time we've got in the game? As you see on screen, there's some footage here. It's a pretty dark game, but it's kind of a different type of game as well. So, review impressions. I guess we can start with Randall Thor, man. You've got the most time in the game. Tell the guys here, who, are primarily Xbox guys, of course, what your thoughts are on the game. So, our real take.
Oh man, here we go. Watching all the footage from the game and reading some of the reviews, I was concerned I would find the game a little bit boring and I would drop it soon after. And we had talked previously about how I didn't really enjoy Days Gone for the first 13 hours. And you were really pushing for me to finish that, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, I don't know, dealer, this game is really not clicking with me. Nothing is. It's really boring. But I got to say, the more I play Death Stranding, the more I like it. I'm currently about 25 hours in. I just entered Chapter 5. And while I don't love the game, like I'm not in love with Death Stranding.
That's healthy.
And it's definitely probably, well, I'll have to wait and see how it actually ends. But I feel like it's a good right now, maybe 8.5 for me. Like I really am enjoying the story. The presentation is phenomenal as always. The game looks incredible. One of the best looking games this generation. But obviously all that stuff is commonplace. Like people knew about that going into it. Like knew it was a Kojima sci-fi story, and you guys all know I'm a sucker for sci-fi shit.
Yep.
But it's the gameplay, right? People are like, "Do you really just deliver packages in this game?" And yeah, that's what you do. You deliver packages. I'm a postman. I deliver
what are
packages.
in the packages?
Well, I mean,
supplies.
It depends.
Supplies.
I mean, if you're talking to Jeff Keighley, it's a weird doll. I mean, Ryan Eisenberg in Super Chat says, "How's FedEx Simulator? Just kidding. It looks somewhat fun." Well, how about the fun, Rand? You've got the most time in the game out of any of us. How about the fun?
It's fun. But it's fun in a way where it's like, I like delivering the packages. I like leveling up my character. I like connecting the world, the online aspect, which is absolutely incredible. Like there's this online aspect where once you connect an area to the network, you can see what other players who are playing the game have done there. And normally they will help you traverse areas. Like there might be a bridge over a ravine that you can easily cross, or someone might have left you a bike or a truck or ladders and climbing anchors, right? So it's like a Dark Souls aspect, and like Dark Souls, you could leave each other messages, maybe
It's
warn
like a
each other
social
about a
aspect where they
boss.
can leave things for you to use. Basically.
Yeah, but it's much more fleshed out, and it's really really good. Like,
Well,
I
you don't
had
get to
built a
use that
road,
stuff,
right?
right? You don't get to use that stuff until
Well,
you unlock it. So that's what I'm saying. Like people might think it's easy that way. Like, well, if I'm just using all everybody else's shit, why don't I wait to play the game? But you don't get that stuff until you actually explore that area and unlock the base there.
Is that
That's
true,
true. That's
Randall?
true. Like there's this highway that I was building, and I built the highway, and I went and I did some more missions, and I kept on getting notifications that someone had used my highway, and I kept on getting all these likes from people using my highway, and then other people would put other supplies in another highway part I was trying to build. So when I came back, like half of the highway was built, and now I was able to traverse using.
Sorry, I can't take Duran seriously once I see Norman Reedus' butt crack in the video.
Yeah.
I gotta give a shout out real quick to Kids Move, the Downer in the chat, Nightmare Edge in the chat, all you guys for showing up, man. Antonio, Eternal Shad Eye, Dreadpool, thank you for showing up, brother. All you guys, man. Bounty Boom, Brand. So basically, what you're saying is you're like, look. And I'm just gonna fill in the gaps because I don't want to take too long on this. This is the third fucking week we talked about this game. But the story's cool, right? Intriguing, rather. I think it's the most intriguing story that I've heard from any Kojima game. It is different. It's corny. You got guys in there named Dead Man and Die Hard Man and Boner Man and all this weird stuff. When it comes down to it, you want the story. But to get that story for me, I've got a couple hours in the game. To get that story for me, I felt that I had to walk places and deliver things, and then walk back to complete a mission. And then when I did that, I got to what I actually wanted, which was the story. But at the end of the day, I mean, Zalker, it's safe to say that you pretty much just have to deliver things over and over to get kind of what you really want, which is that narrative.
Yeah, and the most intriguing part is the narrative. I think me and Rand talked privately in a party where I think we were playing it, I don't remember, but we said if the narrative doesn't grab you in the beginning, you're gonna really hate the goddamn game. Like you're just not gonna enjoy it. But to me, it did grab me. And to get to them, yeah, you have to deliver stuff, but I actually found myself having fun delivering things. Like
Love to see a Thieves Walker, so that's a
well,
delivery
Thieves
game.
had a PvP aspect. People didn't help me repair my ship. I destroyed people. That's what I like. But the thing is that in Death Stranding, the BTs, the things that like, you know, the like shadowy things, right? Like I don't want to do any spoilers. Like those parts where you're around them and it's raining and it's like creepy as shit. Like it's actually really intense. Yeah, they make you manipulate you to go certain routes where you have to use your stuff. You know, and if you get caught, you kind of have to like fight your way through, and not like fight like where you're just punching things. It's like you got to just outmaneuver them, and it's kind of cool. I found that fun. Being chased by those dudes that steal your packages is cool. The fighting is fucking awkward. I don't know if you felt the same way, Rand.
So the fighting, so like that. This is why the game's not any higher for me. Now that may change when I beat the game. Like the fighting is not very good. Even the shooting, like the shooting mechanics are pretty poor for someone who, you know, made Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
So those are poor. The dialogue is very stilted and cringy in a way because this is a world where everything's already happened for years, right? Like for instance, when it rains, the rain actually causes, they call it timefall. Where it rains, it increases, speeds up time, right? So if you're in the rain without any protective gear on, you get older. Now, they explain that to Sam. They're like, Sam, you need to make that delivery, but watch out for timefall. Timefall is where if something gets, the raindrop hits it, time moves forward. But it's so awkward because Sam knows this because he's a delivery, like he lives in that world. So they're obviously saying it for you, the player. So when you get a lot of those dialogue scenes where they're explaining the world to Sam, who already knows all this stuff, and they're explaining it to you, it comes across incredibly bad. So that's why
it's weird.
This part that's on screen now, by the way, you like play as I don't know. I didn't know that I was swimming around as something, and I had to swim to this dude's mouth. Like I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" I thought I was still playing as him, but I wasn't. I don't know. It was kind of odd. I got to give another shout out to BitCloud.
Part of the story.
Yeah, I got to give another shout out to BitCloud, Shinsai, JMO, Scarlett, as well as Scott Gaming Network. There's your shout out, buddy. Do appreciate it, man. And Kids Move, of course, in the chat still. But I mean, at the end of the day, though, gameplay is kind of meh for me. I refused to deliver chickens and pigs and Sea of Thieves. I refuse to deliver things in this game too. I think the story at least is there. The narrative is there. It's pretty interesting. I plan on maybe going back to it when I'm bored, but right now, you know, after putting a couple hours in the game on a pretty crazy weekend for me, I just had no real desire. Like I have to get back into this so I can deliver more things. I wasn't that enticed by the narrative, but I mean, Zaka, you're kind of getting tired of doing the deliveries over and over and over too. I mean, Rand's still building roads and Bob the Builder fucking mode over there, but I mean, that's not for everyone, right?
Yeah, the only time I really like, I'm like, all right, well, I remember there was a part where there wasn't many cutscenes and I was just delivering for a little bit. And I was like, man, I need to stop. And I just like kind of, I put the controller, I walked away, went to the gym, came back, played another mission and no cutscene again. And I was like, all right, I'm going to stop again. Like I just had to stop. Like the delivering does get old. One mission was really fun where I had to deliver and I already unlocked the base and the BTs and these guys were like kind of like chasing me almost. And I used this other person that put it there, his ladder and this anchor down this cliff. And it literally saved me. Like that's what I was like, all right, this is cool. Like that stuff's cool. But once you get into the story and the cutscenes, you do get drawn. Like I'll just sit there, put the controller down, and just 15 minutes later, like 20 minutes later, the cutscene will end. That part I find a little annoying. Like I'm like, all right, I kind of want to play again. Like they need to find a better balance between the cutscenes.
There's a long stretch of time in Chapter 3 where there's like hardly any story. It's basically
I think I'm in the middle of that right now.
You're like building, you're making all these deliveries to all these different places and building up the world where, the story falls out. But then once you finish 3, they kind of really get right back into the story with some very interesting, all of a sudden I woke up and I was in a trench at World War I. and there was tanks and like airplanes and stuff, and that was interesting. So I wonder if I'm past that point where it's like a large stretch of gameplay without the story, and I wonder if the story is going to be more doled out here. But here's the thing: I make my own opinion. This is why I wasn't fazed by the reviews or anything, because like most people on this panel, I make my own decision. So I bought the game because I wanted to experience for myself. Even Zalker, because I remember we talked about this before. You and Zalker were like, you weren't really interested in it, but you wanted to play it, at least you experienced it for yourself. And
I'm not gonna like make videos or go on Twitter calling games trash and then never even playing them. So
and even Zalker was originally like, I don't know if I like this game, and you can definitely tell by what he's saying. Like there are aspects of the game he quite enjoys and other aspects he doesn't. Like I was expecting a lot of people to come and like, this game is just pure shit,
No, but you actually got me a little excited for it when you told me like the strategy of delivering things. Like it's not just walking, like you got to use ladders, you got to find a way to get to places, and anything that revolves like strategy or kind of making the best course to get somewhere, that to me is like planning your route. I like that part. Like you do have to plan shit.
You know how you mentioned you wish that Kojima would have found a balance between gameplay, his narrative, and the story and those elements. Welcome to a Kojima game. That's all I get.
Look, we can talk about this all day. We're still going to talk about Kojima's dumbass quote, and then we have what I think are we got a ton of great topics after that. But of course, I got to get to some of the super chats. Gamebred says, dealing with a nasty cold, is going to lie down and die, but as always, I'm hyped for RDX, and XO19 hype is, of course, real. Thank you so much, man. Do appreciate it. I know we've got another one in here, provided Chrome doesn't shoot me all the way down here, which it did, but I'll find it here in a second. But yeah, Kojima also making a really, really stupid statement, too. We're going to actually cover. Guillermo says late as shit, but ready for the show. But shout out to the panel. Thank you so much, Guillermo. Do appreciate it, brother. And then we've got, I know at least another one here. Cold Eastwood, you've been kind of on the fence here. And I'll come back to you in 1 second. Corey in the super chat, killing it. Love the honesty. And then we've got Element of PO who says, is it true you're delivering drugs in the game? Rand?
There are drugs you deliver, but it's mostly
it's not like crack rocks or something. Yeah.
High blood pressure medicine.
Adam,
the theme of the game.
Good.
The theme of the game is very positive, and this will go into Kojima's quotes, because the theme of the game is about connecting people and places and building a better future for everybody. Like the theme and the message of the game is incredibly positive. So to then see Kojima basically being like, you guys don't understand my game because you're American, trying to tear that down, kind of goes against the message of his own game, which is kind of ironic when you think about it.
Yeah,
and I think
it's
positive that people help each other. Honestly, there's a lot of selfless people in this game. I like people actually like leave ladders, leave stuff there. They leave a lot of things, quotes or whatever. They'll say shit, and then like helping, like what Rand did, the same thing with the road and the bridge. Like people helped me build my I made it, and I was like, I don't have enough materials, and I left, and then I came back and it was done. I was like, what the fuck? People actually help you. Like it's kind of it's weird. It's like, I don't know. It's almost like people are too nice. I'm feeling skeptical. I'm like, they're setting me up to die.
Adam in the super chat says, I'm going to take some time off Death Stranding. I feel like fanboys and haters are ruining the game too much for me. Yeah, I mean, hey, it could be, man. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that did the same thing for every single game this generation. It really is pretty damn common. But at the end of the day, man, Kojima's quotes is really one of the more interesting thing to come out of this. Corey as well says, life loves your content. Do appreciate it, man. Do appreciate it.
Before we get to the quote, though, can I just give my opinion?
Go ahead. Yeah, how far are you, D?
I'm pretty far. I'm like I'm probably where Zalker. When I first fired up the game, I was actually really taken back by the cinematic opening game. It's beautiful, especially with HDR. I think the game is extremely beautiful, and I was really drawn in by the story. Like Rand, I'm a sucker for sci-fi. I love sci-fi shit. So, I was all in. Delivering the packages, I have to say, it's really tedious. That's the one part of the game that I really don't enjoy too much. Now, if you were doing it sometimes, or if we had like more vehicles, to transport packages or whatnot earlier in the game, I think it'd be a lot better off. I think the biggest problem with this game is the pacing of it. I think I think he could still deliver the type of game that he wanted to deliver with better pacing. Like, it takes far too long for it to really get going. For starters, there needs to be more weapons in it, more action in it. It's kind of an empty world. And the thing that really holds you there is the story. The story, I think, is pretty good. There's some lazy parts with the character names, like you said, like Dead Man and Fragile and
weird shit.
Die Hard Man. Like, come on, what kind of fucking names are those? Like, what's really, I don't know if something's getting lost in translation. Maybe it means something in his native tongue or something, and that's how it translates to English. Whatever, I don't know. But those names suck. But the story is pretty good, and because the story is good, you kind of trudge on delivering these packages because you want to get to the story. For me, honestly, it's about a 7.5. I just wish it had a lot more action element to it. I think that would really have made the game a lot better.
I have to say that there's one thing in the game that really just like, it's fucking weird. So you'll be walking and you'll get like an email or a message from like the Dead Man or somebody. These people are trying to reshape the world, right? Like, they're higher ups, they're like smart people, and then you get like an email from them, and it's like this big freaking like paper. Like, you have to read the whole thing, and in the middle of it, there's like these emojis in it, like smiley face, pray hands. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this guy does not look like he'll be doing smiley face, pray hands when he's in the cutscene. Like, it's super immersion breaking. I'm like, this is just like, what is happening? I don't even read them. I just like fuck this thing.
Yeah,
that's the
honestly, man,
thing.
I'm falling asleep talking about this fucking game right now. I'm already feeling like shit. I think I'm getting sick or something. Beaner says, XO reveal, Epstein did not kill himself. That's great. But we do have a lot of topics to talk about today. I want to start also off. We can kind of end the Death Stranding thing for good. I'm tired of talking about the game. We all played it. We know what it is. As Others Inc. said, it really, the gameplay loop and the mechanic is you deliver things. Like, at the end of the day, it wasn't good enough for me, and games like Sea of Thieves ain't good enough for me now. So I'll go back and play it eventually. But as you see in this gameplay,
bring up Sea of Thieves.
that's pretty much what I'm doing. Is I'm delivering things in this game, and maybe it's a cool take on that, but it's not enough for me. I do like kind of the narrative and some of what I'm seeing there, but it's just not enough for me. I'm really looking forward to some other stuff. But let's get into real quick Kojima's quote, and I want to go to Fonz first on this one, and we can limit it to a few people that haven't really spoken a lot yet, because we've already talked about this. But Kojima basically trying to damage control and say that, you know, maybe the game didn't review as well because it's not some kind of shooter, and the Americans don't really understand this type of game. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's kind of a dumb thing to say. Does that mean we should knock a few points off that 95 meta Metal Gear Solid 5 because it is a shooter? Like, is that the only reason it reviewed well? Like, the logic kind of breaks itself either way. Fonz, what's your take on this?
My take is basically that, I've heard some people try to give him sort of a way out of this and say, well, it could have been just lost in translation. And I would agree with that. However, he doubles down in his quote. When he says that, Americans, they may not understand this game. Okay. That in itself is very just derogatory in my opinion. It's definitely putting us down, but he doubles down by bringing up first person shooters and saying that, we're just into first person shooters and his game flies higher than that. I mean, and if anything, we all know first person shooters, most of them anyway, don't have any real expansive narrative. Most of them don't. I mean, no huge stories that you really have to pay attention to or whatnot. And that in itself, he's doubling down there. He's basically calling us stupid at the end of the day. And I've known about his, I mean, a lot of people know about his arrogance for many years. People talk about it, but a lot of Kojima fans don't want to hear it. And at the end of the day, this guy's just, he's a pompous a-hole, and he's going to say what he's going to say. And his fans, dude, there's no way you can defend this. The guy is calling you stupid, and you're taking it and saying, "Oh, he just, Americans just don't get it like his fans do." It makes no
they'll
sense.
make excuses.
I mean, when you look,
he's not talking about me. He's talking about someone else.
You're talking about not just the audience, but also the reviewers. And if you just look to the reviews themselves, These same reviewers that gave him a bad score, gave games like God of War and The Witcher 3 best games of the generation. So those aren't first-person shooters. So what are we doing here?
That's what I'm saying. Like just a quick glance at logic here, and his own past games, right? 95, Metal Gear Solid 5. So you're either saying it only reviewed well because you can shoot things in first person, or should we knock points off of that? Personally, I think that game is like an 8 out of 10 at best. I don't understand it. It is kind of, it's so dumb that it's almost like it really was messed up in translation. But then Sony clarified it, right, or some shit.
Yeah, and then they clarify it by saying, yeah, Americans are stupid, basically. Sony clarifies it by saying, yeah, Americans just don't get his type of game. What do you mean?
What would happen if an American developer said that Japanese people just don't understand Western
It'd be a big deal.
games?
It'd be a big deal.
I don't think there's people out there saying that his comment was racist, but I think what Rand was saying earlier is more in line with reality, that this game is about bringing people together and bringing society together at its worst by working together. But he is setting diversity among. He's not taking a shot at American consumers, because the people who reviewed it poorly were American and European reviewers. It wasn't just the American reviewers. VG 24/7 and a couple other sites gave it, mediocre or low scores too. And to say that that Americans don't understand, I will say definitely that the Japanese culture is totally different from Western culture. That they're on the other end of the planet, and they like different things. We like different things. But there are tons and tons of people in the country I live in that love Japanese games, JRPGs, action adventure games, and all the different types of games that come from Japan studios. And I just think it was, I think Dealer's right. He was kind of damage controlling the lower scores. Maybe he just needed more pacing. Better pacing in the game.
I think it's a guy that's used to getting extremely high scores and saw what he got for something that he's worked hard on for years, and he kind of just got annoyed. Like, he's used to 90s, right? And
somehow, I think
Metal Gear Solid 5 does not deserve
most all that shit's pretty overrated. S. Spider-Man says that if an Xbox dev said basically what Kojima said about Americans and shooters, is that the internet would be clamor for their jobs, and that's an absolute fact. But Kojima's got that wall of translation around him where, it's hard to, even if that was happening, I don't think he would even give a shit. He would never even know what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing of it is, Kojima, at the end of the day, is the way he is. You have to factor that into the equation here. You have to factor in that arrogance and that egotistical nature that he has, that he definitely displays out there and he puts out there in his interviews and stuff. The guy does think he's above you. He does. And that's why I hate that people put him on such a pedestal. The guy look, his writing is, to me, I have to preface this, to me, his writing is complete trash. All right. His games are not well written at all. And I think he'd make horrible movies.
Stop talking that shit, Fonz. Hey, before I'm going to throw it to Tim here in 1 second, but I'll give a shout out to ASQD Gaming. I'm here. I'm late, but I'm here. And of course, we got V Worldwide. What's going on, brother? As well as many others, man. Thank you guys for joining us. We do have already over 850 people watch this live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to crush 300 for the end of the show, 1,000 after the fact. And of course, share this out. Help us out a little bit. You got a friend listening to this kind of stuff, Xbox related topic. Xbox fans. Show a buddy and help us out a little bit. And of course, thank you all so much for what you do. Let us know your thoughts as we move along in the chat. Tim, what were you going to say about this? We need to wrap this up, and then we can move on to some better topic.
I really don't have a lot to say on the thing. I think he used the wrong word, and I think kind of it isn't arrogant, and I think he deserves a little criticism here. To say that Americans don't understand implies that we're stupid, and that's not the case. We understand what you're doing there. You're delivering things, and you're in a world, and to say that Americans don't understand the concept or can't conceptualize it or understand it is arrogant, and it's the wrong word. You'll be probably better off using a word like they don't fancy some of that type of gameplay, or a way of saying it differently, because straight out I look at the game. I saw a thing that Dealer posted. I watched some of the things. that game is not for me. I'm sorry. Balancing 18 packages on my back for 20 minutes trying to get from point A to point B is just it's to me it give me a headache. So, but I don't don't judge anybody who likes the game, because if you like that type of game, that's great. It's what you like, and everyone's different. For me, it's just I need more action. I don't have the patience to just do that, to be honest. But the overall though, I think that he used the wrong word, and I do think that he expected 90 by default, and when I saw the game, I gave it, I predicted an 82, and the reason is because I saw that some of this stuff wasn't fun, and for the people that came out and actually spoke what they felt, good on you, because I do feel like he definitely got a little bit of coddling too from people.
We did predict 80 to 82, didn't we? We were right there, and I think it's at 83 now. But it could be worse. It could be Buzzy for you too, who just smacked himself in the face and said, "Yet you people praised Sea of Thieves, Sea of Z's." Which one of us? Which one of us did that, Buzzy? Because my review's still up, buddy. I know Fonz didn't. I know Colt didn't. I know.
No, I mean I quasi reviewed it, and I think I said it was something that Xbox didn't need. Sorry.
No,
only thing good about Sea of Thieves, in my opinion, is the HDR.
I like the water.
It's great.
I think it's a fucking amazing game. And
I
think it flies higher than what you guys can understand.
Hey, Chill Chris says I met good friends playing FPS, so F him. Hey, everyone's got their own story. I don't know why he was generalized like that.
Boy.
Did Buzzy play Sea of Thieves? There's a problem with this community where people
Buzzy can't even hear. Buzzy can't even hear or
Buzzy
read, so he needs to work on the basics first. So we're gonna go ahead.
Buzzy's too good to play. He's too much of a gamer.
We don't know if Buzzy plays any games, honestly. So Screeching Beaver says, "I understand just fine. Hard pass."
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really what's to be said here. I don't think it's a big deal, but if that comment was reversed and that was said about Japanese, there'd be a big problem. I think you'd have the people of the world going crazy.
Yeah. ASQD says that 83 Metacritic though. LOL JK, great podcast though. Yeah, 83 isn't bad, man, and it's crazy that people feel like they said the 80s were dog shit all generation, and now that this is at 83, lower than Gears 5, Gears 4, Halo, all the games they said were trash, I guess they're all going crazy.
Taylor, I've said this on Twitter too. If Kojima didn't try so hard and try to put too much into his games and just convolute his stories the way he does, like Death Stranding has over 9 hours of cutscenes alone. That's ridiculous. All right, tone that down. Make a game. If you want to make a movie, go and make a movie.
Well, they did say they're moving towards the movies going in the future. Yeah.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, you're not going to watch a 9-hour Kojima flick. It's just not happening, dude. Tone that stuff down, and maybe you can make something that's coherent, and everybody can literally understand it.
Peter Jackson kicks Kojima out of his chair. Get the fuck out of the way.
Fair, though, at this point,
New Zealand, fuck.
To be fair, though, at this point in time, we all kind of know the basis of Kojima, so. People going in it were expecting those long cutscenes. That's part of his lore, right? Is his cinematic cutscenes. Whether or not you like the stories or not is debatable, because it's personal.
Well, that's the thing about this game, dude. That's the best part of the game, but you got to do the delivering to get it, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the problem that I'm having. Like I said earlier, like if they just split it up, like. Some parts were delivering, some parts it's action, some parts were some fucking vehicle going somewhere doing something different. It's just the delivering part. It's like, it's brutal. Like you're going over mountains and like you're looking at how far you got to go. You're like, oh shit, I'm walking for like fucking 25 minutes. Like what's going on here?
Mm-hmm. I got to give a shout to Bad Boy Live as well, man. What's going on, brother? Tiger Blood. Also gameplay FPS. We got Don't Call Me White. we got a ton of people. No Russian. What's going on, brother? And shout out to over 900 people watching this live as we move on finally to the next fucking topic. Trust me, I wanted to do this 15 minutes ago.
That's 2 hours of Death Stranding coverage.
I'm done with Death Stranding going forward, right? Not talking about the shit.
That's 1/10 of the cutscenes in the game.
Yeah, just Tim, tell us about this Game Pass 9.5 million thing, man. You know all the details on this. I covered something similar to this back in like May. And the thing was it 9.5 million users? Was this accurate? Like, what was the deal? And it's kind of reemerged, and we got people saying, well, we don't, what's the source, and what's going on?
Well, Kyle Orlando, who's a pretty esteemed journalist for Ars Technica.
Ars Technica.
Technica, I can never say it right. He posted an article about how PSN now is behind, and what it has to do, and he's talking about the competition. He cites an article from Video Game Chronicles. And the article was May 19th, and I actually had tweeted him because he gets behind this 9.5 million Game Pass subscribers number, and which if true is extremely high. If true at May 19 before the $1 deal that everyone got going into E3. You're talking even higher than 9.5 is absolutely crazy numbers. Now, the actual number really isn't known, and that's because Microsoft doesn't talk about it. And I think we all think that they should talk about it, especially if they're hitting these types of numbers. I asked Kyle, and Kyle says that he has no reason to believe that number is wrong. Because he cites that he has Video Game Chronicles is a pretty reputable a pretty reputable source. I looked into the article. There's some crazy stuff in it. They talk about 14 teraflops for Scarlett, but you got to remember it's May. And they talk about some crazy things. So it's a little bit of with the grain of salt here. Take it with a grain of salt, but the 9.5 million, if they're around that number, that's like you can understand why these games now are, like Gears are getting 3 million players and they're not selling physically. People are just on this Game Pass. And, the whole mystery out here, and the panel can guess, is what is the numbers. But I'm assuming they're very high, especially even if we're contemplating 9.5 as being accurate.
Yeah, even if it's 9.5 million users, right? Which is probably what it really is. I mean, that's still quite a bit, and that's still a lot higher than 1 million with half the install base and whatnot. So that's actually pretty good. Element of Peel says, enjoying the Azure-powered Disney Plus, bring on XO19. Yes, for sure. And I got a question for you guys, too. I mean, I'm thinking about doing something for XO19, like post-show or something. I'm not sure. I don't know who will be available, or if I'll make a video instead, or, I don't know about any of that stuff. But I figured if anybody should probably be covering this kind of stuff, it should be us for sure. Or at least me on this channel. Go ahead, D.
No, I was going to say that number, like, it's kind of flying over people's head. That is really a good number if that's accurate. That's $950 million a month.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
If that's
I don't
paid
think
for.
I'm gonna say.
Well, not everybody gets a dollar special. Let's remember that.
Yeah.
The dollar special thing. I already know people that have Game Pass. I know 5 people that didn't even know about the dollar thing, and they're like, "Wait, you have it for how long?" I'm like, "That long for $1 when they did this promo back at E3 and all this." And they're like, "Oh, I didn't do that." They're like, "I just have it because I can play Outer Worlds like on PC." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." And I'm like, "You're gonna keep it?" They're like, "Yeah, actually, I didn't know you could play Gears 5." Like, a lot of these people that are on there are not the people that are hardcore like us and people in the chat that knew about the dollar deal and everybody jumped on it. Like, yeah, they got us, right? But we came in at a very low price because we're hardcore. These other people didn't. A lot of people that have it have not done that. So that's the way I look at it. I look at it as they're making good money from this and they're very happy with it, until otherwise where they go, you know what, 6 people are on it and it's everybody on RDX and that's it. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm pretty confident that they're happy.
My brother-in-law, he got Game Pass. He got the trial for a month because he wanted to try out Gears, and his trial expired. I told him about all the deals, but he wasn't into it at that time. His trial expired, and when Outer Worlds came up, he's like, "Oh shit!" And he went and signed up for 6 months of Game Pass. So, and I know a lot of other PC players doing that too. Like his cousin did it. Like, there's a lot of people doing this. Game Pass really is catching on. Like, whether or not I like the Xbox platform better than other platforms, it is a great deal. It's a fantastic deal.
I think that number is wrong. Personally, I think it's higher. I really do. I think it's
Really?
higher. Yeah, I think it's higher. I
Why?
think the reason being is I know there's a lot of people that again, you got games like Gears 5 that was reviewed very well. You got freaking Outer Worlds in there. that reviewed well, and you've got games that appeal to a lot of different people within Game Pass. And I think that a lot of them signed up for Game Pass.
Sorry, I just want to clarify. Yes, I'm carrying a dead corpse on my back right now in this gameplay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do the guys.
Yeah,
And I even at one point
carrying
I purposely fall over just to see what it looks like. But you have to balance this dead body on your back as you're walking it into the woods to do some weird shit. So.
But yeah, and then you have to take into account the fact that streaming services are booming right now. And I really think that because Xbox does do day and date, and they also have a lot of multiplats in there that are fairly new. Let's face it, I really think that it's over 10 million, man. I really do.
Well, thoughts. I mean, I guess we'll never know until they finally say anything, but we do know it's a big success. We've heard nothing but positive things about the service, right? And yet people keep persisting with these narratives that it's bad for games and that it kills traction and all this stuff. I mean, Take-Two just said their sales expectations for Outer Worlds was more than they expected. So that's kind of odd, because I could have swore Day and Date on Game Pass would kill that. There's no way that if no one bought it on Xbox, it would ever beat their expectations. We also know that people tried to use the European physical sales charts, which is like 1% of all physical sales, not even total sales. They tried to use that in the UK as proof that Xbox didn't sell anything, not knowing that, that Xbox is primarily going towards digital. I think Borderlands is a 70% take. Right. And all this other stuff they
not
don't
really
consider,
being fair about the situation.
Not at all. In one region,
if you're gonna really be fair, and props to Rand and Stalker and everyone. I have to say that you guys are fair with the Death Stranding. I'm not going to talk about that, but just great that you guys can do that and be that way, play another system and not hold against it. But yeah, they weren't being fair when they looked at those numbers. And if you look at the situation, you really have to consider how big Game Pass is going to get. Now, we don't know, and it could be 15 million. I mean, or maybe a little bit lower, but it could be a very high number. Kyle believes that it is there. He put it in his article. But you look at Phil, what he said, crazy Game Pass growth. The writing's on the wall with this, and people could look at Xbox and either pretend that it's not selling and make these fake narratives up, or they could say, "Holy crap! Look, people are actually subscribing to Game Pass and they're using the service the way for themselves, and it's their choice, like Phil said. Also,
here, let's kind of go with this topic in this way. If Xbox wasn't making money from this, they wouldn't be having this huge event at XO where they've flown people out. They're having a 3-day event, I think. That's a lot of money. That takes millions of dollars to do. They're invested in gaming. Game Pass is obviously working for them. They wouldn't be keep investing and getting new studios and doing all this stuff. It's pretty easy to see, people, that Xbox is fine. Do not worry about their wallet. Just worry about your wallet, because right now we get to play these games on Game Pass. And I think they're going to drop another AAA, third-party game during XO and Game Pass. They usually do that during an event. They say you can play this today, Yeah. So I think they're going to do that. It's just good.
It's really hard to get people to worry about themselves, though, and that's one of the main reasons I like covering PS5 stuff, because I can lure in a lot of these guys that are what I would say radical turds, right? And my last PS5 video yesterday. I'll cover the tech stuff because I think I'm one of the most accurate in terms of the people that actually do it. And then I'll spend 5 minutes of that video destroying most of the Sony guys' logic. And that's a good way for me to draw a lot of people in that really don't understand how Game Pass works and take the time to explain to them, this is good for you. PlayStation Now, Game Pass, it's good for developers even. All these guys are saying otherwise. There's nothing saying that it's a bad thing, that it will reduce quality. And then there's people out there that made videos saying Sony have locked all these things down. They're never bringing first party to PlayStation Now, and they shut them down. But that's not the case, because we read you the full quote that they didn't read you. And Sony are sitting there saying, well, things are fluid and things are going to change and on all this stuff, man. It's crazy how similar Sony are becoming to Microsoft.
What about these guys? They've told me that they're waiting for our dollar to get paid. These developers.
Well, it's odd because it doesn't matter if I pay nothing or dollar or $15 a month. The developer gets paid at what they get paid just to put it in there. They're already paid.
They're already paid when their game goes in there. It's like they think that they're waiting for their payment or something. You know, it's
I know. It's so dumb. But
Eating
you know,
ramen and shit, waiting for their check.
a pretty good viable source just said that your numbers are right, Fon. So, you know, about Game Pass. So, and this is somebody who could possibly know. So it just goes to show you, you know,
I think it's
looks,
above.
you know, and
I've been saying that for a while, man. I have a sneaking feeling that Game Pass is doing extremely well.
Sneaky. Well,
I also
they
think
might maybe they'll talk about it this Thursday. That would be really nice.
And if
I
you
also
don't
think next generation, when we get the Scarlett, I think that number's gonna really high.
See, I think they struck gold here. I mean, you just look at it. Look at the momentum that's going on. Look at how we're talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. Once it becomes known and it becomes commonplace and common sense, it's just going to be something that people are just going to get by default.
Well,
and I think that's where they're at.
And let's be real, if like what Sony did with PS Now, where they price cutted it and all that, like we just said, right? It's fluid and all that. They said they're taking it extremely serious.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking
Listen,
it.
I say 3 years.
I almost signed
like
up.
that.
I almost signed up for PS
right.
Now. The only thing that's keeping me from PS Now is the day and date stuff.
Yes,
like I almost signed up. I was like $60 for a year. Like, why the fuck not?
Zucker, right now, without the day and date, Game Pass is flying higher than PS Now.
Oh my god!
Look at this footage. I'm out in the field with a corpse.
Compare the third-party games that
trying to find a cave
on PlayStation Now versus what you have on Game Pass. Xbox destroys them, and they're going to announce probably another 3 AAAs. Who knows what they're going to announce at XO? But you know you're going to get some really good game in Xbox Game Pass.
Hey, Zark the Shark says RDX FTW. Just wondering how come there's no news on Embark Studios. Oh, I did see that actually. Phil Spencer met up with Embark Studios. Tim, you know anything about this?
I know that studio. They're working on some photogrammetry stuff. It's supposed to be really.
Is it like a development studio or is it like a technology studio for developers? What is it?
They're former EA guys, like a bunch of former EA developers there, and apparently they have good relationships with Phil and a lot of the Xbox guys. And then Phil posted a picture with I think it's Sunderland, that guy who used to, that guy who's there. So a lot of people are speculating. And I have to say, for XO, like this, like everybody's talking about studios and all that, I'm so glad there's no leaks. Like, honestly, I just want to be surprised. Like they Xbox did something where they found the rat that was leaking shit and they kicked him out of a building or something. I don't know. Like there's something, like I'm just excited because I don't know what's actually, we all don't know what's going to happen.
Well, we've heard a lot of different things, but yeah, that's interesting. Beaner said XO will be big because of the anemic E3. Could be, man. I think that they probably should make it kind of pretty interesting as a result of that.
Dealer, that corpse on your back just bouncing around as you walk.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, I'm like, no, shut up."
I can tell you this is what I know about. I did a research. They formed a year ago. They're currently, I believe, using an Unreal Engine 4 engine game for a multiplayer only type game. And they're about 90 people big. So it looks like the only thing I thought was interesting is it looks like Phil met with them and he had his Game Pass sweater on, which was pretty cool. Do I think it's a possibility? I think it's a possibility, but I would say it's a 30 to 70 chance that would actually happen, or 25 to 75, just because I think they're a bigger studio and I think that they have their own. I think they were purchased, or their stock was, or somebody actually purchased them 3 months ago. They have a lot of money backing, so it's just interesting. Maybe it's an exclusive deal with a second party too. It could be that.
Ryan Eisenberg says, I love playing PlayStation exclusives on my PC. Thanks, PlayStation Now. Colt, you keep hiding in the sleeping bag wherever you're at. Jason's gonna come up and smash you against a tree, right?
I'm waiting to be called on. I'm just sitting here.
It's your podcast, Colt.
Being all peaceful.
It's being all peaceful.
It's not my
podcast. God, you dick.
Yeah, I gotta use that.
So, I mean, in terms of Game Pass, we'll wrap it up after this. We have so many other good topics, and we got to give a shout out to over 900 people watching. But kind of sum up this whole topic, man. We know it's successful.
Yeah, it's super successful, and it's kind of funny to hear the Sony guys say that that Sony isn't really pushing PS Now. I mean, that's laughable. We don't need to get into it, but I don't know. I don't think it's at 9 or 10 million subs. I think maybe it's at around 5. And I think that because if they've got a bunch of downloads and they think they have a bunch of users, my kids have 4 profiles on their Xbox One S, and only one of them has Game Pass. And if someone else on that Xbox plays one of those games or plays it on their profile, it might, send an authentication, whatever you call it. An authentication. That user is playing like Humans Fall Flat or whatever on the Xbox, and it would count as a Game Pass user. So I'm in the conservative category where I know that Game Pass is huge, especially since Tim says that 9.5 million users is pre-E3. So I would not be surprised if there are 5 million subs to Game Pass compared to the 1 million on PS Now, and that's going to change as they evolve and get everything in line for PlayStation to do day and date.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I heard basically, or I had a conversation with somebody about if they hit 10 million subs, that's basically like something like 4 billion in revenue, and it's a crazy amount of money. Basically, all that money is filtered back to the studios and to grow them and to make more games. So when people say the studios aren't getting paid and stuff like that, they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. You're talking about 5 million, even if it's 5 million now of paying subscribers.
That's a lot.
That is a lopsided number. That is. You look. They started what, 2017. That is 2.5 million growth. You're talking about possibly going into next gen with 10 million paying subscribers. You're hot and heavy. You're ready to go. You're next gen certified.
And Colt's just kind of being honest. Like, yeah, does it kind of dwindle with the possibility of what? But that's one scenario. Whereas most people don't have that going on. Colt's just saying, look.
Yeah, and I make guesses all the time, and I get stuff wrong, and sometimes I'm close, sometimes I'm spot on. But it's just like I really do try to make an educated guess. In fact, I think it was like 6 months ago I said, it is not out of the realm of possibility that the Xbox One consoles could be at 50 million. Now, like the best report that the experts can come up with is 47 million, but 6 months ago, I was saying 50 million, I'm just putting the best educated guess and being realistic. I would never try to blow smoke up somebody's corpse they're carrying on their back and tell them that,
hey, leave that corpse alone.
Yeah, that the Xbox One, who cares about how many it's sold? Obviously, it's behind the pace of the 360 this far into its generation, respectively. It has made Microsoft enough money to keep the Xbox going. In fact, the Xbox is doing well enough. Larry.
Rand, do you see this right now? Is that you on my back, Rand, sleeping? What's going on?
No, I mean, here's my problem with all this. So Game Pass could be at 20 million, Game Pass could be at 10 million. We don't know.
Yeah.
And I find it funny that people. We talked about this back in May when this guy published this article. Like, I remember Dealer making a video about it because I talked extensively to Dealer about it, right? And I was like, I don't know, man. Some of the numbers don't add up. And here we are again, 6 months later, talking about it again because Ars Technica wrote an article sourcing that, but he didn't try to get his own source. They even told Tim he didn't try to get a second source. He just was going with Video Game Chronicles just because. But that article also was updated because I went in the Wayback Machine and the guy said, hey, I've heard it has 9.5 million subscribers, which would be absolutely fantastic. But then in the next paragraph, he's like, I was also told Game Pass accounts for 30% of all Xbox revenue, which is fucking ridiculous because Xbox revenue is 12 billion, which means Game Pass would account for 3 billion. And if you have 9.5 million subscribers, you're not getting $3 billion in revenue off of subscriptions because the math doesn't add up. So he removed that quote. And
so
said,
what does the math take you to? I think you and I were doing this. We were writing down.
And if you have 10 million subs, you're getting over $1 billion, like $1 billion a year, right? So I look at it as like we're talking about old information that's 6 months old. We don't have anything new to talk about. So I'm just like, I don't know what to say. Like, could Game Pass be at 20 million? Yeah, it could be. Could it be like 5 million like Colt is said? Yeah, possibly. The problem is it all lines on Microsoft. They don't talk about it ever.
Yeah.
Like, it could be like, you know, if it was that high, if it was like 10 million, they could easily run ads like join the 10 million subscribers and play Game Pass and all these different things you could run. So it's like,
yeah, but Netflix doesn't really do that either, though.
No, but
Netflix gives their numbers during.
They do
I
give
think
their
Netflix has like
That's
152 million.
Yeah, I mean,
like
Satya tries to get the numbers, but Phil jumps through the air in slow motion, smacks the shit out of No!
you could take those numbers like that 30%, and maybe it does in this way. Maybe the subscribers who have Game Pass that play the game in Game Pass also buy the game.
I thought about that, but that would just go for revenue of just buying games. Like it'd be no different than you just buying.
It's a cause and effect thing. They tried it in Game Pass, and it gave them money essentially.
All right, Rand, I'm about to lay you to rest in this gameplay, Rand.
That's your mother, Bridget dealer. I seriously.
You're not my mother, Rand. I'll never believe you. Stop saying that.
Shut up, dealer. Shut up. Dealer.
Rand is
I'm just
so
saying,
motherly, though.
It would be nice. It would be nice to talk about new information about Game Pass rather than regurgitating stuff that someone said 6 months ago. Yeah. So it's like, what the number is, I don't know. I think it's pretty high because I think
what do you think realistically?
Yeah, what's your guess?
Hey, wake me up when we're done with this topic.
I would say it's definitely over. I would say it's probably over 6 at this point.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, I say it's over 10.
Which is a lot.
But the whole point of Game Pass. The whole point of Game Pass isn't right now. The play for Game Pass is it's a long-term play. It's for next gen to get people in there, and even years into that, and then being on mobile and having the mobile users potentially subscribe. That's the play. It's not today. It's set up in the long run. It's a long-term play, and that's why they're fine essentially losing money now, because this costs a lot of content. It costs a lot of money to get a lot of content. Like, it's not cheap to get Outer Worlds, and it's probably not going to be cheap to get, you know, any of these other bigger games. But that's what you have to do. You have to get the users, and that's what they're in. Your user acquisition mode. They need as many users as possible, so they're using carrots on the stick. Gears 5, Ori, Halo, Outer Worlds, whatever new huge game they'll announce at XO19. You know, like
Inner Worlds.
That's what the mode they're in right now.
Yeah,
of course. It's just like Disney Plus giving you all this stuff.
Yeah, and Disney
Plus is trash.
It is where you activate the magic baby. And also,
Disney already said that they don't expect to make any money on Disney Plus for the first 6 years.
Fuck Disney Plus. When you talking about Disney Plus, all right? God damn it.
It's the same concept.
I know. I get it. I don't care anymore. I'm so burnt out on this shit.
Withdrawals.
You know what?
Let's move on to Need for Speed Heat.
No. I wanted to point out that I don't know if this is optional, but at this part in the gameplay, one of those dolphin thingies came at me, all right? You guys know what I'm talking about? Was that optional, or was that going to happen no matter what?
That only happens if you get caught by the sludge monsters.
Okay, because I tried to get caught by them so I could show everybody in the chat this week, you know, kind of what happens. And yeah, some dolphin thing came at me, and it's like plopping on the ground at me, and I'm like walking around it slowly. Like, is this really this easy to avoid? So I wasn't sure if it was supposed to happen or what, but you will see it. It's actually it kind of looks.
It's really the first time it happens is really freaking cool though. Like the terrain deforms and stuff, and like it's super cool. But yeah, it's pretty easy to avoid the stuff.
His gameplay is a lot different than mine, man. I got attacked by BTs delivering the body. I was running around like a fucking madman.
Yeah, I went up a cliff and then didn't know what the hell. I said, "Fuck it, I'm going the hard way." I do want to shout out almost 1,000 people watch this live, guys. Hit that like button if you can. We do appreciate it. It's a random Tuesday. We are competing with Disney Plus. That's what I was told over and over last week. So thank you guys for checking us out. Maybe watching the Disney Plus in the background.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
We're already past 300 likes. Let's try to cross 400 likes if we can. 1,000 after the fact. Last couple shows have been doing like 1,400 likes, Tim. So we're doing pretty good. A lot of people enjoying the show, man, and we do appreciate the support. Share this out; it helps a lot. But let's go ahead and move on to the next damn topic. Or at least I can kind of give a quick take on something for you guys, because they're getting a lot of questions about this. We do have a ton of information on XO and all that stuff. We're going to cover that as well. Tons of good stuff there. But real quick, Need for Speed Heat. People have been asking me about this game a lot, and I'll say that it's a hard one to kind of judge, but it doesn't really look that great in my opinion. It is one of the blurriest games I've ever seen. Yeah. It's like they got motion blur combined with checkerboarding, combined with just regular blur, combined with
chromatic aberration,
combined with some blur effects.
And the texture streaming is horrible.
It's
too.
And like what the hell do they do with this game? So if you're super fucking bored and you're not interested in Star Wars coming out this week, maybe pick it up. But it's man,
I would recommend picking it up when it's on sale. But Dealer and I have been playing it, and I didn't like it at first. They really want you to kind of feel like what it's like to have a stock car for a little while, and then you start leveling it up and putting parts on it, and it starts to get faster, more nimble, and I've actually really started to like it more and more. So people are asking me like, should I get that game? And I come like, I'm pretty quick to let people know if they shouldn't spend $60 right away, especially with Star Wars coming out in a few days.
You know what's the greatest thing about that game? It's an EA access. You can try it out before you buy it. Plop down $4 for the month, try it out, see if you like it. Me personally, it's a pass for me just because I think I'm spoiled from Forza Horizon 4. It just looks
it looks so damn bad too.
It plays better. Now, the one thing I didn't like about it is all the issues that you brought up, but also the texture streaming. I found it really bad. I saw like buildings like popping in, like the textures on the buildings popping in way after, and just the sense of speed. I played on PC, so I'm at 60 frames per second, and the sense just wasn't there for me.
Yeah,
I gotta say something that's not technical about it. I've played a lot of the technical racers over the years, and I've stayed away from Need for Speed for probably 6 years. And as I kind of got into this one, I realized, oh yeah, there is a certain joy of an arcade racer like Need for Speed and getting chased by the cops. And it's not the best. It's definitely Need for Speed is just a shell of its former self. But there's still some fun there, which really surprised me.
It can be, man. I just get tired of seeing this 150-pound or 150-horse Crown Vic keeping up with me. And, you know, you could have any car in the damn game. Eventually, they upgrade their cars. But the Crown Vic keeping up with me, flying down the road with 500 horse even, it's kind of ridiculous to me. I just don't like the way they've made those cars so fast. No matter what you do, it kind of ruins the fun. I mean, if you're really going to have that much more heat, send out a faster type of cop car. Don't make a Crown Vic keep up with something that has 600 horsepower, because it's not going to happen.
You'll get a red circle around you showing that you're being chased on the mini map, and that circle, you don't leave the circle like you do in GTA.
Here we go. Here's the part coming up on the screen.
He's like,
yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, Need for Speed Heat it's I don't know why they keep letting that studio keep making it, but they need a complete revamping. The game doesn't look good. It doesn't necessarily handle good. The customization's off the charts. Forza needs to compete there, but other than that, man, they're getting stomped. Jedi Fallen Order, on the other hand, coming out this Thursday night, I do believe. That game is looking better and better. We have been hyped for this game ever since it was announced, and people are finally starting to pay attention to it. Looking like a Game of the Year contender. It's got a performance mode, a resolution mode. It's looking like a great story. I mean, we've kind of begun to lean more and more on this game, Rand, as the year's gone on, because Doom gets delayed and other games are big letdowns. I mean, Fallen Order, you looking forward to this? Anybody in the chat?
Hell yeah, dude! I cannot wait. If I'm not done with Death Stranding, doesn't matter. I'm playing Star Wars. Like I have been so hyped for this game.
You're playing Pokemon. Stay away.
Well, no. Just knows I'm not playing Pokemon until after Star Wars, dude. I think that game is gonna surprise a lot of people. Yeah. It's got it looks like it's got great combat, Sekiro style.
Look at that little dolphin.
The Force powers, the Jedi. Uncharted like set piece moments. A Metroidvania aspect for I cannot wait to play this game.
Yep. I literally plan my whole weekend to just play that damn game. Like, I've done extra work. I just want to play it. I can't wait. Pre-ordered.
Did extra dishes.
I mean,
I got a question.
Look at this though. I could have walked around this thing like the whole time. I could have just let this thing
really
dive at me.
It's really cool looking though.
It does look
really
cool. Yeah, it does look cool.
Now you're running for your life over a bus. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
I was going to ask those that have EA access. Jedi's not in there?
Nope. There is no trial for Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, you're joking.
No, D-Bax looks like you're doomed.
Well, I have EA Origin on PC.
Oh shit! See, you had a backup plan.
You got it free.
I don't know, man.
But no, it's definitely a game that every time I see new gameplay, I'm more intrigued. I'm more excited for it.
Yeah, it's a Metroidvania kind of story, with upgrades, and you can do all kinds of different things. It's looking like
really
something.
Awesome. I'm shocked. Honestly.
Yeah.
No shot. No, it's too big of a game.
At this point, I'm just standing next to it.
You know,
like,
dealer,
is this thing gonna kill me?
you can actually kill that dolphin eventually later on in the game. You can throw your blood at it, or your poop, or your pee.
Oh,
you know?
Wow.
Here's the question though: when does the Metacritic drop for that game? Thursday?
Thursday 9 p.m. I
It's
believe.
gonna be high. It's gonna be high, I think.
How many of these have you
84.
killed, Rand? How many of these dolphin squids?
88.
I beat there's one boss fight where you have to fight one, and it's pretty.
Is
you
it
fight
synthetic?
that.
Is it synthetic? Is it 10W30? What kind of oil is that we're fighting?
It's like tar, dude.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
black
Why are we
tar.
still talking about
Feather,
this
feather.
Death Stranding?
Yeah. Why are we talking about that?
Nah.
You guys can't get Death Stranding out your mouth.
Well, I don't know, man. I just was kind of blown away by that because I'm standing next to it and it's like licking me and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, all right. Let's go ahead and end the footage here. But
Is this where the dead body is?
hey, real quick,
All I know. Go ahead.
go ahead, Tim.
No, all I know is I just want to try to finish Outer Worlds, and I don't know if I'm going to finish it by Jedi, because Jedi is the type of game that could be my game of the year. So I'm really looking forward.
Yeah, I'm coming back to Outer Worlds for sure. There's also a new Xbox update that adds a surprise me button on the dashboard thing there, and if you hit it, it actually gives you a random game from your library to play. So if you just like, I don't know what to play, and you hit it, it's going to recommend something for you. I thought that was kind of
like,
interesting.
That's not the game I wanted to play. Damn it.
Yeah, you'd be hitting that button for an hour. There's also something regarding PlayStation 5. Jim Ryan confirming that developers are saying this thing is the easiest thing to code for that we've ever dealt with in terms of a PlayStation. I thought it was pretty interesting because how that would compare to Scarlett. He's also talking about them kind of becoming a global company now, no longer two branches, North American, Japanese branches, fighting back and forth and stuff like back in the day. They're now one global company. That's why you see Sean Layden get kicked out the window, and of course Shuhei in the boiler room again next to Freddy Krueger. I don't know how many people noticed that, but I put a little snippet of Freddy Krueger in that video. But I thought that was pretty interesting because he's also talking about how they're no longer investing in kind of region-specific exclusives like they might have before. They're going to let the indie market take care of that. And most importantly, he's also talking about how PlayStation Now, while right now he does feel like he wants to keep those exclusives, big blockbuster events that can kind of compare to movie events. How many times, Randall, throw in that article, does he say, this is fast and fluid? We really don't know. And as of right now, we're not really doing this type of stuff, but that, I'm not going to say that will never change, but, this and that. Like, there's so many different things that he said that pretty much plain as day says, like, our position 12 months ago was entirely different than it is today, so who knows,
No, he said that specifically about subscriptions, and even talked about how cloud gaming is going to change a lot of stuff too. But that doesn't matter because all the other fanboys are like, they shut it down. Jim Ryan says no, and it's like, did you read the same article as me? Did you go to grammar school? Do you understand reading comprehension?
Because not only did he say it in one way, but he doubled down on the fact that,
Preach, Rand. Preach.
It's like he literally says it's fast and fluid, right? Meaning it's changing all the time. Then he says our stance today was different than literally a year ago, meaning that they can change their minds at any point in time. And then he says, I can't say this is how PlayStation Now is going to be forever. He's literally telling you that it could change at some point in time, and he's not making any promises.
Let me tell you what he's literally saying. You said literally so many times that I think you missed one.
Because it's there in the article.
You missed one literally.
And I'm literally about to deliver a package in this gameplay.
He's literally...
Jesus Christ. Are you okay, Tim?
Jim Ryan is literally preparing Sony fans for, he is literally preparing them for day and date the eventuality, because of all people, PlayStation fans and the hardcore fans will not accept that their exclusivity could be put into question of how these games are pushed out. And Dealer covered it so well in his video about how they, unlike Microsoft, they actually want to make sure that all of the regions, everything is all ready for PlayStation Now, that everyone can do this together, and that they don't. When he says clean and pure, I don't think Dealer didn't say this in his video, but when he said clean and pure, what he meant was he doesn't want their game segmented. He doesn't want someone getting the next Spider-Man game on PlayStation Now in one country, but another country can't. He kind of covered that. And he wants everyone to have access to physical, digital, stream on all devices that will be supported all at the same time. He doesn't want that to be a different experience across the globe. So for all of these big fanboys that are saying that, oh, they shut it down. He's like, no, actually, what he's doing is trying to let you guys down easy because you're the hardest to convince that this pro-consumer choice of day and date on PlayStation Now could be good for your wallet and could be good for bringing more people.
They're convinced that the quality of their games would suffer when there's no proof of that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. Like, these people are like, this is such a small minority of people that think that way. Like, after the price cut, they've said they've gone over 1 million subscribers. It's helped. PlayStation fans actually want this to happen. Sorry. If you're a true PlayStation fan or a true fucking gamer, you want this to happen. And he did, and Colt hit it on the head. He did say, like, Germany will have a game and Italy wouldn't. It doesn't sit well with us. So they're still getting this cloud thing going, and that's what it is.
That's what Jim literally said. And Jim literally said that in his interview, though. I want to make that clear. Is Jim, and I went over all this in my last video. Jim literally said it in his interview, quoted it, unlike some of these guys who only looked at one phrase and then this one after that. He's like, well, this could have completely changed. Look at our stance 12 months ago. It's completely different than it is today. He literally said, look, one of the main reasons we weren't comfortable talking about a service like PS Now is because a gamer in Germany could have access to something like this and, you know, we could advertise and it would be proper, but the same advertisement would hit the guy in Italy and he doesn't have access to it. With the last 7 data centers brought online, bringing access to Scandinavia and all these other places, we can now actually take the services seriously as we really wanted to from the beginning. You know,
yeah, and look at the Xbox games that have dropped since Xbox Game Pass was day and date. Stay Decay, Sea of Thieves, Crackdown. Right,
it's all old stuff.
There's your big examples, and then there's Forza Horizon 4, a 92 Metacritic, Gears 5, an 84 Metacritic.
Outer Worlds.
Yeah,
Outer
Worlds,
an 85
Metacritic thing. Yeah, I mean, it's just weird that
countless third parties day and date.
Like, are you really going to tell me that if they make the next God of War sequel, that if they put it day and date, that they'll go, we'll just half it because it's going to be on PS Now.
I just want to say real quick.
Go ahead, D.
Yeah,
that morning when I woke up and I saw the inaugural tweet that set everything off, I had to read the article. And after I read the article, I said, is there something wrong with my comprehension skills? Like, am I reading the same article that these guys are reading?
No. Nope.
Because when I read the article, I could clearly see that he was separating. And it was funny. He said, God of War, Spider-Man, and The Last of Us 2 are in this clean release window. And all these games are before the PlayStation 5. He also goes on to say that in 1 month, they just put in God of War and
Uncharted 4. And
Uncharted 4, and they saw a 50% increase on the subscription service in 1 freaking month. And he also goes on to say that I'm just saying this is the way it is right now, not that it's gonna always be like this. And I don't know. I don't know how they could gather
they're
that
idiots,
PlayStation's never gonna put day and date.
I think they're very few. Them actually going to do something that Xbox actually did and say it's good. I mean, I think that's like that's their nightmare, that they might actually not have to spend all the money that they do on games and play them. And I mean, they talk about, do you really think the God of War developer, Santa Monica Studios, is going to suck because the steel comes because their games day to day?
That's the thing, though, Tim. They have no proof for any of that logic.
I know.
Because again, it's simply
stupid.
in the service, right? Did the Mandalorian suck because it's on Disney Plus?
Did the developers change?
Crackdown and State of Decay and Sea of Thieves were all in development, nearly done by the time that
far before Game Pass is even a concept. Yeah.
But you're talking about just a small group that, I mean, these are the same people who thought that Death Stranding was going to get a 95. Okay. I mean, they don't
It's true. They're very pro.
Think things through at all. They just talk before they even think. And, they read just the headlines. And they run. Hardly any of them probably read that whole article.
No, they didn't. And that's why I wanted to break it down. And that's one of the reasons, again, that I like to cover that kind of stuff, because I feel like if I wasn't out there reading that stuff myself, and again, that video did about 60,000 views already in just over a day. So if we take that and we're like, all right, well, I look at it as the truth got out to more people in that one day than most of these guys combined. And since that interview, since a week, right? At least more people know what was actually said, because most of these people didn't even read the whole article. That's how I look at it, because I read it word for word. I linked it down below. I showed it on screen. And it is what it is. Jim Ryan said it 50 different ways. Things change. Look at our stance from 12 months ago. It can be completely different. Blah, blah, blah. Not saying it's how it'll be forever. And as Dee said, that's one of the things where people put up one little phrase, even though he doubled down on this several times, and you're like, did these guys even read this? I'm confused.
Right.
So
Dealer, a lot of them must be. I think the education system failed them, because it's not only that, but then the stuff with Kojima, people were saying like, "Oh, Kojima's talking smack about Xbox gamers. That Xbox gamers only like." I saw that being spread around too, and I'm like, did you even
Just
like?
makes you shake
the
your head.
Xbox
Did you
gamers
even
on Metacritic reviewing the thing?
Yeah, like
professionally?
all those. I mean, you mean like all that Xbox gamer at Push Square and PlayStation Lifestyle, right? Like reviewing those games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I've always been firm about. I think PlayStation will put their games day and date in PS Now.
Mhm.
4 years from now, I
Yeah.
think they will launch the PS5. They will sell it to the hardcore for the first 3 years, and then Switch will go on.
Mhm.
And it'll be mobile. It'll be PS Now. About like
PS5
year 4.
only. PS5
And that'll be it.
only.
I'm not saying it'll be at launch, but I say it at some point it'll happen,
I
and it'll
agree.
happen like 3 years.
I
3
see
years
within
after
the next
PS5
two
launch,
to
4
3 years
years.
maximum. Yeah.
I'm with
within
Rand.
that.
Well, you know
Within
what happens is like the 700,000 subscribers and the 50% jump. They see that, they say, "Oh, what's the connecting dot here? Grand Theft Auto, God of War, and the other game that they put on it, and also the price drop." It'll, they're gonna want to build that number, and obviously, listen, once they put their games day a day, it's a huge thing for them. I don't think
happen
it's
sooner.
Yeah.
yeah, it could happen sooner, because once that's announced, these fanboys who are all wrong, well, they'll just adopt to it, and then you'll see them saying, "I paid $1 to play God of War 2." It'll all come 360, like 180. But the bottom line is that it could happen sooner than later. And what were you saying, Pons?
I'm saying, like, let's be honest here. PlayStation Now, the reason it didn't do well and the reason it was struggling in subscriptions was because, one, it was overpriced. It was $20 a month, which is ridiculous. Two, it was basically a backwards compatibility service. It was mostly PS3 games with a lot of older PS4 games. Now, the thing is, gamers want fresh content. It's a little bit different than Netflix, where people are okay paying to watch The Office or to watch Friends, where they like that stuff. Nobody really wants to play and load up Resistance 1 or like an early game from
With 200 milliseconds of latency. Yeah.
Yeah, like, people want the new stuff, which is why I think Game Pass is doing better, because Microsoft had the better pricing promotions, and they're offering newer games quicker into their service. And I think Sony realized that, so they cut the price and they added their own games, which are spectacular, Uncharted and God of War. So it's no surprise people wanted to get in on that action. So once PlayStation Now starts adding more games, fresher games into the stuff, more people will subscribe. It's common sense.
Well, because look at this. Look at the situation. You have the Scarlett coming out, and when games get announced for the Scarlett, what's going to be on everybody's minds is these games are all going to be in Game Pass. Okay. And they know this. So that's why I say they're going to do it sooner than 3 or 4 years. I think it could even be within the first year of the PS5. Who knows?
Yeah.
But day and date is coming because the competition is doing it. And it's going
and they've seen dramatic results, just throwing in a few exclusives and a price drop. That stuff's legitimate, and people like to clamor up and say Microsoft games as a service and look at this and that and this and that. Thank Sony, because they were doing it first. PlayStation Now is literally one of the first services on console to charge you a monthly fee for games. Games as a service, if I'm kind of thinking here properly. PlayStation Now has been around for years and years. Game Pass is just the first one to do it properly, in my opinion. Zalker, let's get your opinion on this since you're over there chewing on your toenails.
I like my toenails.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this multiple times. I don't get how people think this is even not going to happen. I think, Rand, I think you're a little off with the 3 to 4 years. I think it's like Afonso. I think it's going to happen way sooner. I think it's going to happen a lot sooner than people think. I think they've already gotten a huge influx of subscribers because of the games they've added. They're going to see that. They're going to see everything being brought in there. And Jim Ryan himself said, yeah, we're going to keep this clean. Last of Us 2. He didn't bring up Ghost of Tsushima. He didn't bring up other games that are coming out. He just brought out the ones that are coming out in the next 6 months to 8 months. And Ghost of Tsushima is going to be a launch title for PS5. I think around that time, I think around 2021 is when they're going to start putting a day and date. I think they want to get the thing with Microsoft and the cloud streaming done first, with especially PC. I mentioned this in the video I made about this, is that they want to have a pure experience, right? So that means then it needs to be streamed on PC flawlessly. It does. That's what you need to do, and that's how they want their games to be.
I will be shocked if Ghost of Tsushima is available day one.
I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying he didn't bring up Ghost of Tsushima. He brought up God of War.
But then again, this is also a guy who during the interview forgot that the PS2 and PS1 both sold 100 million consoles. So I wouldn't take what Jim Ryan remembers, as a certainty here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's to be true, right? But I think he's picking his words very carefully here. I think he really is. And you can tell by the interview that he is dancing around the fact that, like, yeah, we're probably going to do this. That's the way I kept reading it, is that this is going to happen and it's very profitable. And we've seen that. I think they're using even Game Pass as a test hub. I think they're seeing what Microsoft's doing. They're kind of like, all right, we'll let them do it and then we'll do it kind of our way, but see what they do.
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it.
We still have another massive topic, by the way, and I don't know about you guys, but
I have to ask Grant a question.
Yeah,
there's one piece of this day and date stuff that we haven't really addressed, and I'm going to ask Rand because I think that he can kind of guess better than most of us. One of the big concerns with a game like Gears 5 going day and date is that the coalition isn't going to get paid because everyone's going to play it on Game Pass. Now, Rand, can you explain what you think is your educated guess on how the coalition gets paid in this situation?
I mean, that's not even anything you have to think. I mean, that's just right? I mean, the coalition get paid by Microsoft per month.
This is the argument we get all the time.
Yeah, and again, say, all we got to do is tell them, like, where the fuck are you getting this? There's nothing out there except for what the developers are saying that says anything other than Game Pass is a positive thing. There are no articles from developers saying our game flopped because of Game Pass. There's no articles saying we lost money and went under because of Game Pass. Everyone's saying engagement's up, users are up. That's it. And for people to say that the quality is suffering because of Game Pass and all this shit with no fucking proof, again, CETs and all that stuff was just timing. Games in development, that was the first games we heard of with this gen. Then we get the best Gears we ever got, in my opinion. Then we get Outer Worlds, which is now in a Microsoft IP. Then we get Ori coming up. Then we get Halo coming up. Then we get Forza Horizon 4. Then we get all these games people don't talk about as a good example of quality in Game Pass. It's kind of blown away.
Right.
But doesn't it work that the bulk of the money that the developer makes, even if it isn't even a Microsoft developer, don't they get paid? Doesn't the publisher pay the developer right when they start working?
The only thing that costs Microsoft money to make a game is the salary of those employees. And the marketing and stuff like that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Employees at Microsoft.
They already got the money. Like when Insomniac was making Spider-Man, they asked Sony, "Hey, we need more money because it's going to take longer." Okay, here you go.
And it's not like we need better clouds. Sony, can you give us more money for better clouds? They're like, no, we need 6 more months. So can you pay our salaries for 6 more months? That's the only thing that costs more money.
That's what it is. And so when the game goes out, you're not supporting the developer. In some way, you kind of are, right? Like you're showing that, hey, we like your game, and then other publishers will pay them more money later to make another game, right? Because they're successful. But at the money's going all to the publisher. Like it's just going to the publisher.
And again, just because the game's in Game Pass don't mean it's not on a store shelf or a digital store. It's everywhere. And Game Pass is like I said in my last video, it's another revenue on top of those sales traditionally. Which we have no real proof that anything's negative.
It's become a stupid argument from stupid people against the argument that it's bad. It is not bad. Unless the only thing that I can think of is maybe Sony fans don't trust Sony, that once they put their games day and date, they're gonna Druckmann's salary is gonna be he's gonna make $62,000 a year and get their benefits. I mean, I don't understand what these people
shit. Let me read these.
Bottom line is, don't worry about their pocketbook. Worry about your pocketbook.
Yeah.
You got these guys haven't even paid their water bill, telling you how to spend your money.
Shit.
Exactly.
Beaner saying Game Pass saves me money for the dates I don't go on. Thank you so much, Beaner. Appreciate it. Element of PO says I've heard an interesting idea. Destiny 2 Xbox Game Pass WDLC. Maybe. I mean, it is free to play though.
Destiny 2 is already free though.
Is this free?
He's talking about the expansion is going to go on.
It's possible. I guess they could give the expansions for free, but the whole game is free except for the new expansion. So,
well, either way, I gotta give a shout out. I gotta give a shout out to almost 1,000 people watching us live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to crush 400 for the end of the show. 1,000 after the fact. Share this out for us. Help us out. Let's get into the topic I've been wanting to talk about for about 20 minutes now, which is XO19. And by the way, I want to throw this out there too. In Exile just hired the the lead producer of World of Warcraft, Ray Kobo. So in Exile, that's kind of a big pickup.
Yeah, I think it's Ryan, but I don't know. I'll get the real name.
I think it's Ray. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's Ray Kobo.
Yeah, he's a lot of people from I talked to Dealer about this. A lot of people from like Blizzard and stuff have been kind of leaving Blizzard. I don't know why, but I mean, I do know why, because Blizzard's been fucking up for 10 years. And Blizzard, this is coming from something that Blizzard's my favorite developer of all time. I love all their games, basically. And this is a big hire. This guy understands RPGs. He understands how to create a big immersive world.
And he's not cheap. Yeah. That's kind of the main point of even bringing this up. Like that's like the initiative, hiring the lead producer of God of War 2018. That guy isn't cheap. I don't think people understand that. So they're not hiring these guys for little dinky ass games. Like they're definitely putting some money in.
He's a over 10 year veteran in Blizzard. So he's been there for a fuck ton. He has experienced, people.
Yeah.
This dude's a big hire. He's not like some little dude that's like, hey, here we go. No, this is a big hire. This is like they're bringing someone in with experience, and they say it like his experience is going to be like invaluable.
Well, let's talk about XO19 and the 24 playable games on the show floor. First off, we don't really care. We're not going to be there. Could give two shits. 12 Xbox Game Studios will be there apparently. We're talking Bleeding Edge. We're talking Rare's Sea of Thieves update, Mojang and Exile, Obsidian, Age of Empires, Flight Sim, Ori 2, Playground. We'll talk about what that could mean individually here in a minute. The media are also attending in force, and there will be an exclusive interview via IGN after the show. Wonder what that's going to be about. That's kind of going to be a big deal. I'm really, really curious about that. xCloud will also be there, and they're going to potentially add more games, stuff like that. We'll talk more about that as well. You've also got a bunch of new Game Pass announcements that will most likely be at XO19. They did this last year. What was it, like 16 or more announcements?
Games,
Yeah, something like that.
I forgot about that.
Project Scarlett. It'd be hard to imagine that they're just not going to mention this thing at all. I think that could go either way, though. We've kind of heard conflicting things there. Third-party publishers should be there as well. We're thinking, what was that? Square Enix is going to be there and stuff like that. Rand, let me start off with you, man. New studios. Last year they announced In Exile and Obsidian, which were linked preemptively via Clobriel. What are your thoughts on new studios at XO on Thursday, and what do you think that might be in terms of new studios?
I mean, it could be going. I think there's going to be at least one.
Wow!
I think.
What the?
As for who it could be, I don't know. Phil's talked very much publicly about a Japanese studio, but I wouldn't expect something like Capcom. I would expect
of course not.
a smaller one. I know there's some people like, oh, well, Itagaki, who was the Ninja Gaiden guy, like he said that he'll be, coming back and like making games again. And some people have kind of theorized, well, maybe Microsoft would give him a studio to make. I don't think that's going to happen. So maybe a smaller kind of indie Japanese studio like White Owl.
Hang on. Before Rand gets this all hyped up too much, I got to read this one. Because don't call me white since I refuse to get hyped up for XO19. And trust me, we are with you, buddy. We are with you. Okay.
I mean, I've kept my my expectations on. Like I don't know who it could be. It could
Rand's
be
trying to hype you up. Don't believe.
You got me hyped, Rand.
No.
Rand.
I've said it in my video. Like
I know.
Rand, stop hyping me up.
You come from
Sobo.
from if you're
Sobo Studio.
Sobo
Studio.
Maybe
Sobo would be a
maybe
good
ready at dawn.
Ready at Dawn, the guys who made the order 1886 or $18.86.
You cut out. What did you say? Sobo? Impossible.
You're cutting out, Tim.
Oh, you're cutting out.
Stop yelling in the mic. You're breaking shit.
Tim's ripping the fabric of time and space.
What developer are you hearing? And I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not hearing any developer in particular. I'm just trying to guess at like independent studios that maybe would consider going under Microsoft Games Studio. So like White Owl, Japanese studio, Asobo, they're working on Microsoft Flight Sim. That's a possibility. Ready at Dawn, it's possible that they could be that studio. I don't know, man. Like tomorrow though, I wouldn't be surprised if information starts leaking.
Whoa!
I would not be surprised.
And Tim's gonna be the one retweeting all that shit.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if you.
So
I
on
would
the
not be
internet,
so
it's fair
surprised
game.
at some point tomorrow. Z Huge starts tweeting stuff.
Ooh.
I just have this feeling. So
Well,
studio wise,
they're usually good for a leak.
Hmm.
You know,
Well,
I don't.
unfortunately.
I want to say there's at least going to be one. I don't expect there to be two. I do think, however, now's the time to buy. I mean, Sony, Jim Ryan, like Dealer did in his video, Jim Ryan's like, we want to buy new studios, but that shit's expensive as fuck. Like, you know, because
You gotta be
everybody's trying to
careful.
buy new studios. So if you're trying to sell yourself, now's the time. So Microsoft needs to bite the bullet. You know, if you're all in on the Game Pass thing and you want as many games as possible in studios to get great content, you need more studios.
mm-hmm.
You know, you need maybe a bigger studio. I would love for them to get Ready at Dawn. Like that would be a great pickup.
Ready
in my
at Dawn
opinion.
and Asobo would be great,
That-
man.
that
Asobo really
Asobo
impressed me.
Crytek.
If you could pick one of them, who would you pick?
Ready at
Of
Dawn.
those
I mean,
three,
at
I
least
would
Ready at
pick Ready
Dawn
at
kind of
Dawn.
are known for visually stunning, kind of like the order
Yeah.
$18.86, right?
Yeah, I
Dealer.
think that
Haven't
would
played
be
that
a
game.
big pickup.
Hey Colt,
but-
what are the 12 Xbox game studios? I mean, we got like I said, we got Bleeding Edge going to be there. They've already teased that.
Yeah, Ninja
You've already
Theory.
you've already got Rare, and then with their Sea of Thieves update, you got Mojang, but with Minecraft Dungeons in Exile.
Playground's going to be there, but we don't know if they're going to bring both teams or just one team.
Well, they need to bring that other team because I mean
need to
nobody
bring
gives a
the
fuck
St.
about
Albans
They
Forza,
haven't- they
Lego
haven't
Kart Racers. No one cares that. Well, no, they not even bring it up.
They haven't confirmed Playground though.
But we've heard a lot of
They're-
things. We've heard a lot of things
they're in
behind the
London.
scenes, right?
They're in London.
Right, but I'm just
They're
saying
gonna be there.
there's like 5 studios that they confirmed: Ninja Theory, In Exile, Obsidian, Mojang, and Rare. Right, those are confirmed. And I know Rare's showing
And the
off new shit.
initiative.
Well, so they said 12 studios. Xbox Game Studios, Rand?
They
There's
said
50
they said
there's
well, in the
15.
promo from today or last night or whatever it was updates on 10 Xbox Game Studio titles
343 will be there. 343 to
and
talk about,
and
Master
new
Chief
game
Collection.
reveals. So I think the fact that they said 12 in the tweet and then said updates on 10, I think you have 2 new game reveals. I had heard that Obsidian's new game is going to be revealed.
But
It's
correct.
a survival RPG of some kind.
But
Some kind of smaller, like budgeted, and just we got to be clear on that. Some kind of
I think it's a
smaller budgeted Obsidian
yeah,
game. It's not their main big one they're
smaller-
working on.
Yeah, I think it's Josh Sawyer's game. I think it's a smaller kind of experience. From what I understand, it's not the one that Microsoft was extremely high on when they bought the studio. It was just another one
Mhm.
that was there that they were working on.
It was the bleeding edge of Obsidian, right?
Yes, pretty much.
All right.
I want to see Ninja Theory's new game, like the Hellblade team, like because I think so they got Bleeding Edge. They have the Hellblade team making something. There's another team making something else.
Jesus.
I want to say there might even be a fourth, but I know there's 3 teams. The question is,
do you think Gears Tactics will be there? Just please.
He
I
doesn't
think so. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if Halo's going to be there, dude. Like,
I don't think
think
Halo's going to be
Halo.
there. I think Halo's going to be E3, but I
'Cause
hope.
this is-
Hey, Colt, what, dude? Is there some action that needs to happen on Drunk Ninja here? Does he need to be drop kicked or what? I didn't see what he put.
I just put him on a little timeout. He was just writing the same thing that was slightly inappropriate.
And Yosemite Blame
no
says
big
the
deal.
community manager
home,
for
Drunk
Playground
Ninja, you're
Games
drunk.
confirmed they'll be there. The thing is with that is you don't know if they'll be there because they have like Lego Playground, one of the Lego Speed Champions on the show floor. Like they better not put that up on stage as one of the time. This is the problem though, Dealer, because Phil played this game with E3, like 14 games, and we all sat down. We're like, oh, everyone's so excited, 14 games, and then we sat down and we figured out exactly what 14 were, what the 14 were.
Again,
Right?
I mean, I don't even want to
And-
see a Sea of Thieves there, but I mean, if it's a big
They're
update,
not going
whatever.
to. Yeah, they're
show
not going to say. They're not going to say we're going to show 12 games. It doesn't matter how big or small. They're going to say that number is exactly. Even if the game only is on a screen for 8 seconds, they're going to count it as one of the games. That's
What
the
does
problem.
this mean here? Mikhail Reeves says, "Do you think there's a chance of cons exclusives?" What's that mean?
Where did you see that?
It's a super
Cons.
chat.
Again?
Super chat.
All I'm thinking is about the biggest surprise you may get is maybe a release date, or maybe they'll say Bleeding Edge is available now.
Console exclusive.
Delilah HD says it's all
There's
about
no chance.
surprises. Delilah, by the way, I told you to message me on Twitter so I can get you in that Discord to have you on the show. I haven't heard from you yet, so just hit me up.
All I know.
Don't be scared, Delilah.
Come on, Delilah.
All I know is that
Fable being shown there.
Delilah, get on that.
Get on that.
I meant Delilah.
I don't think
at E3
We'd love to
week,
hear.
so-
We'd love
Yeah,
to.
we'd
hear.
love to have her on.
Awesome.
Real quick, that Mikhail Reeves said, "Do you think there's a chance of console exclusives? If you mean games that are only on Xbox consoles and not on Switch and PlayStation 4, yes, most of them will be that. If you mean a game that's only on an Xbox console and not on PC, absolutely not. That's pretty much been a thing since 2015.
Emmanuel says, I hate when dealer cuts people off when they talk. That's my job, buddy. I got to move shit along, okay?
That's when I asked the panel.
Thank you very
really
much, though. I'll take that into consideration.
So I want to ask the panel really quick: Is Fable been ruled out completely?
No.
I think so.
No.
I mean, I think it's,
I'm
I don't
rolling
think it's
it
going to show
out.
up. I don't think it's going to show up.
Oh, you mean for
but-
XO19?
Yeah.
Bryant says,
I don't-
Rand going to become an RDX member or nah?
Yes. Come on, please. Woo! Please, I got 100.
Damn.
You got to remember, Rand is like a celebrity, so we're even lucky he's in our presence. you know?
Celebrity, excuse
We can't
me.
afford him.
Dealer likes having me on because I know everything about everything.
Yeah, Rand plays games, and I'm like, just trying to get more people to play games on here sometimes,
But he wanted somebody who he knew was going to play a lot of Death
we
Stranding.
got a
and
lot
that
of
was me.
frauds on the panel. To just be honest.
Shit. Fable, I heard.
Yeah.
Fable's a possibility. I like the Obsidian thing. I know is happening, like for sure, right? The Fable thing was said to me as possibly. So I think it's 50-50. It could be the big surprise at the end. Although, like I said in my video, I think Microsoft is going to save that for E3, but I would love to be proven wrong because there's nothing else that I would love to do is to see new Fable and then tweet at people who said it was never going to happen or that it wasn't in development and, hand them a frosty bowl of L's. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing I have is if they do Fable, the new Fable, that's better than their E3 in a way. It's like, doesn't make sense.
They may have taken the feedback from E3 quite seriously. We know some of it they did.
Well,
so.
they would definitely get to the point for us with that.
Okay.
I mean,
So look at the tweet they put out. They said 12 Xbox Game Studio titles, new reveals, well, whatever. But then in the promo, they said 10 updates on 10 Xbox Game Studios games, which implies there's 2 reveals. If there's 12, because math. One of them's Obsidian, so that leaves one more else. So is Ninja Theory's game or potentially Fable?
Now, here, let me
No,
indulge
Fair's
you
not.
guys. Let me indulge you guys because
Fair's
Rand and I
almost
were
at
on the phone.
400.
We were making a list of what games could possibly be there, and we were looking at each title objectively and trying to figure out what could be there and what wouldn't. So the list that we came up was Halo Master Chief Collection, which will mostly be a big focus on PC. Bleeding Edge, Minecraft Dungeons, Wasteland 3, Flight Simulator, possibly Gears Tactics, Pillars of Eternity, Deadfire, Pillars 2, Psychonauts 2, and Battletoads.
I didn't say not those are for me either. Those are yours, Liz. Cole, that's not mine.
Now, we haven't heard from Gears Tactics since E3 2018.
I think you're going to get Gears Tactics.
I
If we don't
think
get
it could
Gears
possibly
Tactics,
be.
I'm chain sign Fawns.
And
They
I
haven't
think
done anything. They showed they showed. I've used the footage a million times. They've shown like 8 seconds of gameplay and like 8 seconds of a pre-rendered cutscene for that game. That's all they've shown.
Well,
So my list was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
I don't
8,
care about
9.
Gears. It's not coming to console right now anyway, so I don't really give
Right.
2 shits about Gears Tactics. It'll
But
be on
that's
PC
going to
first.
happen
It
at
would be a
XO19,
PC.
guys.
It could be.
You have to be
Yeah.
ready for that. They're going to show a handful of games that probably won't. Not a handful.
Age of Empires. Yeah, yeah.
To me, there's no
They're only
excuse for Age
showing
of Empires
12.
not to come to Xbox 2. I mean, you can make that work on the controller.
Yep.
Listen, if they have 2 game reveals, I would be very happy. And a studio, I mean, to me, that's a huge, huge show. I'm going since we're here, I'm gonna go a little. I'm gonna say no Fable. I'm gonna say 1 game reveal, and I'm gonna say I don't. You guys see? I was going to say no, developer, but I'll go with one developer. And I think if that's the case, that's a very good show. I'm not going to overhype this because I've done that too much.
Just go on with zero expectations, but hope for the best. I mean, we all want we want some exciting announcements, man, because we definitely didn't care for that E3. Element of PO says I want to see what Crossfire X is all about. I wouldn't expect a whole ton there either. If you look at the past Crossfire, maybe I don't know. It's not really anything that's going to.
Well, these shows are long too, though. Sometimes, like you realize it's the Inside Xbox. They're still around, an hour and 30 minutes. So you might see it on Inside Xbox, but maybe not the press conference itself. I think they're going to have a lot of games there.
Ermy's like, is Xbox going to get the new Super Lucky's Tale? Why did Switch get the? That's not even an Xbox IP, I don't think, is it? The team isn't owned by Xbox. I mean, that was a third-party thing that for some reason they did. So I don't give two shits. Didn't care for the last one. Don't want Super Lucky's Tale 5 on my fucking Xbox either. Never ever push for those types of games. Want some bigger budgeted AAA games. Xbox Battleground says best team on planet Earth, Colt, Dealer, D, J, Fonz, Rand, xCloud, Tim Dog, and Zalker. Thanks for putting Zalker at the end. Yes, do appreciate it.
I was getting a little nervous.
I knew it. I literally knew it. I was like, is that going to say something to fuck face? You fucking dick.
We've also, again, guys, I think for the most part, I mean, we're just kind of letting you know what we think might be there, what we've heard might be there, the gist of it. It'll be really interesting to see what that IGN interview is all about. Phil has set this up with them, and there would not be a Phil Spencer interview like this with IGN unless there was some reason to give it. So I wonder what that's all about.
I think it's about Scarlett. I think it's about Project Scarlett.
Could
honestly.
be.
I think they're gonna talk about it. I think Sony has come out the last month. Like, how many videos have we made of Sony and PS5s? Like, they've been very vocal out there talking about their console. And yeah, man, I don't know. I think that Scarlett, they're gonna show some stuff. I think they're gonna talk about it a little bit more.
Just give us a little bit more information.
A little more, because it's like, I said this in my video. This is the last XO before the next generation starts, and they've said that they want XO to be a little bigger. And Greenberg even almost compared it to like an E3 level, right?
Wow.
That's what he said. He said in an interview, like it's kind of like almost a green E3.
Well, Zalker, what games do you think will be added to Project xCloud? Because you've been trying that and you've been having success there, right?
Yeah, I think they'll put a more first party. I think they'll put like maybe another like Master Chief. I don't know. I think that they're gonna put Forza in there. I think
Master
they'll try
Chief
to put,
Collection would be great.
Master Chief Collection would be great.
Would be great.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I think they're just going to stick it to first party. Just stick to first party right now, and then see like maybe put a.
I have the list if you guys would like to hear.
No, Colt, stop trying to ruin everything. I want to know from D-Batch.
Yes.
What new Game Pass games might be
State
announced?
of Decay 2.
You think like Game Pass games like Control's a possibility? D-Batch.
Yeah, I do. Seeing how we got Metro, which was a pretty big AAA title, so. I think we could see Control. I also think on the interview, I don't think it's going to be about Scarlett. I think they'll briefly touch on Scarlett a little bit, but I don't think the emphasis is going to be on Scarlett yet. I think they're probably going to talk about the cloud, the xCloud, and the beta that's going on and the investments that they're making. I think they want to piss in Google Stadia's cornflake, because
I agree
that's going to be launching soon. So you kind of want to blunt that out because they're launching for you, really. So I think that's probably what's going to be about.
Yeah, I agree with you.
In that promo, they mentioned huge Game Pass news, Project xCloud info, but they said nothing about Scarlett. I do think they'll reiterate Scarlett. They'll make sure to mention that it's coming again, but I'm not sure we'll get anything like new. And to be quite fair, Sony really hasn't talked like anything. Like, sure, they mentioned like the controller is going to be different and stuff, and it's got an SSD, but like we know as much about the Scarlett as we do about the PlayStation 5. Realistically,
speaking of SSD, I don't know if it's on your list of topics, Dealer, but did you see the cartridges?
Yeah, I don't really look into it. Go ahead and fill everyone in if you want to.
Well, there's a report out there that there's these SSD cartridges that you looks like you can expand out the storage for the next generation PlayStation 5, which would make sense. They could lower the price of the initial system, give it
well, I mean, it's not looking good because they seem proprietary of some kind.
Yeah, they do. I also saw them on. I think Jez put up a post today too on the new Surfaces. They also have a similar kind of setup, and so maybe Microsoft is going with this on their console as well. Maybe it's something.
But it wasn't a PS5 patent cartridge and kind of pointed to maybe like a new handheld that would have cartridges, or
I don't know. From what I've seen, and I haven't seen too much on it because it's kind of fresh a few hours ago, but they're kind of saying that it's a solid state storage kind of cartridge.
maybe I'm thinking of something else. I saw a couple days ago about cartridges and people talking about it with PlayStation and how it pointed to like a handheld of some kind or something like that.
You think they'll go handheld again?
Possibly. I mean, who knows?
Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing, man. At the end of the day, that's pretty much what we've got to cover today, guys. Thank you all for joining us so much. Oh, and I wanted to mention something about Call of Duty Modern Warfare performance. Apparently, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on online with that game. And Immortal Jedi sent me a message and like tweet this out, and I'm like, yeah, they know all about it. It's on their forums and stuff like that. Like they know. I don't know how fast they're working on it, but if you guys have been experiencing problems with Modern Warfare, like online performance or anything like that, tweet it, Infinity Ward politely. Maybe ask them what's going on with that, if there's going to be an update and stuff like that.
Politely.
Yeah, you got to say that, obviously. But
bitches.
yeah, we definitely don't want performance issues on what is by far the most powerful console out today. The X should have, easily the best visuals and the best performances we've seen with countless other games. So
there are a few problems with the game though. The online portions, it's pretty much a mint, but the single player campaign, sometimes the cutscenes, they just stutter like crazy, man. So annoying.
Yeah.
Shit job.
There's a lot of interesting little. Who knows what the bottleneck there is? Shinsaya says one ray tracing demo for the end of the show and all. Oh, you want a ray tracing demo for the end of XO? Yeah, that would be interesting. But then again, we don't even know if they'll talk about Scarlett for sure. If I was them, I would definitely say something because Sony have been pretty vocal. There are those who say don't say anything, but at the end of the day, if you don't want to hear anything, then just don't look into it. That's what I say. I definitely want to hear something.
Personally, I don't. My idea of the reason why they talk about Project Scarlet is because of like last show that we were talking about. Not many people. I don't know if many people heard that they actually have two systems back in the works: Lockhart and Anaconda.
Yeah.
So if that is true, they're not going to say anything, and that's why I'm going to say they're going to wait to drop that bomb at E3. So I just think it's going to be purely games and acquisition studios.
Yeah, damn. Wimmy Hood pops up at the last minute with another $100 super chat. That reminds me, I am doing a Wimmy Hood show tomorrow. So if you guys are going to keep up with me and some other stuff that's going on, I'll be on Wimmy Hood's channel. I'll link it on my Twitter. Follow me at dealer_gaming to keep up there, and we've got a ton of giveaways and all kinds of crazy stuff. Wimmy is giving away like $8,000 worth of games and shit and consoles, so this guy is fucking the Santa Claus of the community right now, big ass white beard and shit. So just keep that in mind. Catch me there tomorrow on Wimmy's channel. I'll link that on Twitter, and a lot of you guys already know who Wimmy Hood is, so thank you so much, sir. We are dead. I think I'm getting sick, so hopefully I'm not all fucked up on that show tomorrow on some, I just feel like shit right now. So again, guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Thanks to almost 1,000 of you that tuned in tonight. Share this with a buddy or two. Spread the word. And the panel, obviously you guys are fucking fantastic. Follow these guys here. Hopefully you enjoyed the Death Stranding gameplay. It can be interesting. Not a horrible game or anything, but again, yeah, you do deliver things, and I'll come back to it at some point. I'll come back to it. Cold Eastwood, man, how have you been? What have you been playing? Where can people find you, man?
Good. I was just told I hit 8,000 followers on Twitter.
Nice.
Good job.
Congrats.
I mean, I'm no Tim or Rand, but I'm trying. I've been playing Need for Speed Heat and Need for Speed Payback from 2017, and I actually like them both, so I'm sorry. I don't know, I just like them. And you were going to ask me way back in the show, and then I think Tim went, yeah, or something like that.
Sounds about right.
Death Stranding. I'm going to pick up Death Stranding after I finish Jedi Fallen Order. So
I can't state how much I'm really looking forward to that game. I really am.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Jedi's gonna be good.
I gotta give a shout out to Impo Aquasave as well. He said, "Fuck it, I'm going up a notch. 150. I think it's like 120 US. Man, thank you so much." He says, "Hey guys, me again. I'm keeping my expectations low, but I'm hoping Xbox can blow our minds with games and announcements at XO19. Man, that's what we all want, brother. I advise everybody keep your expectations low, but hope for the best, and maybe they'll surprise us, man, because we could really use it. Honestly. So thank you so much, brother. Do appreciate it. You guys are absolutely fantastic, crazy motherfuckers. D-Batch, what have you been playing, man? Where can people find you?
I've been playing the Death Stranding, the benchmark of all walking simulators.
I bet you can't wait for the PC version of that game, huh? When the PC version hits, the Metascore is going to go from 83 to a 73, just so you know, just because it's on more than one platform.
You know what? Most games, I double dip. I know for sure that's going to be double. That's for sure. I'm not saying I don't enjoy the game. I said it's a 7.5. It's a good game. It's got its flaws. I'm also playing COD, and you guys, of course, can catch me on Twitter at D_batch and at YouTube at DBatch. I threw up a video today on my opinions of how I think ray tracing is going to be for the next generation consoles and which console will lead the pack. Check that video out, and good show, guys.
Oh, yeah. We've also got Bonzarelli. How have you been, man? Where can people find you? What have you been playing?
I beat Outer Worlds last week, and I thought it was an awesome game. My game of the year so far. Gotta see what Jedi Fallen Order is like before I make that decision. But so far, that's my game of the year. Besides that, I've been delving into a little bit of Red Dead because Colt hit me up and said, hey, there's a lot of new stuff on Red Dead Online, and so I've checked that out a little bit, and yeah, there's some cool stuff going on there. But until Jedi comes out, I'm really just waiting for that game. But you can find me at jfonzarelli here on Twitter and on YouTube at The Grounded Gamer. I haven't made a video in a while because of my schedule at work, but I will be getting back to that as soon as I can, guys. I'm just tired as hell.
You said because my schedule at work. Meanwhile, you blast through Outer Worlds in like a fucking week.
Well, hey, gaming for me, and I'm sorry to say this, guys, but gaming for me is more important than making a video about games.
You got to balance the two, Fonz. Come on.
It's hard.
Come on, Fonz. You got to spend less time on the corner, more time on the mic.
God, gotta play those games.
You got to play Death Stranding then, man, to balance those packages so you can balance life with gaming and making videos.
But thank you to the chat, man. Chat's always amazing here. You guys are awesome.
Fonz, we need to get on that Red Dead Online.
Yeah, we do.
Gang.
Oh, man. Hey, Randolph Thor, what have you been playing, bud? And where can people find you?
And you know what I've been playing, dealer. Playing that Death Stranding, bowing down.
Building bridges, listening to Phil Collins and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the game. I'm going to probably get back on here. Hopefully I can have it finished by the time Star Wars comes out because I cannot wait to play that. As for me, you can, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RandallThor19. Jez has a link up for anybody that wants to donate to charity, the Gamers Outreach, for me playing Pokemon. I'm playing Pokemon for the first time. God help me. Because, I almost did. I almost just donated $200 not to play Pokemon. Seriously.
Damn.
Because I don't want to play Pokemon.
I mean, you played worse, Brandon. You played it for Gamerscore. Can't you help the children?
Yeah. Well, there's no game. It's a Switch game. There's no Gamerscore.
Okay, well, hell, help a child in need. Been down. You don't want me there.
What about the children?
Yeah, he said it.
I heard that somebody's going to draw up a logo for that.
I haven't heard that.
I heard that.
What about the children?
Well, in either case, Rand, we wish you the best of luck.
Is there a mole involved?
Thank you.
Hey, xCloud Tim Dog brother, what have you been playing? Where can people find you, man?
I've been playing Outer Worlds, which I'm a level 17, level 18 actually. I've been doing all the side quests. Absolutely love the game. I am trying to stay away from the main storyline as much as I can. That's how much I like this game. I'm looking to go as far as it can take me. I just love just everything about it. It's probably my game of the year. I'm looking also forward to getting this Jedi game on Friday, which is going to be insane. So I'll probably be playing both of them. You can find me on Twitter, xCloud Tim Dog. You could just search me. I'm on TXR Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and I'm always here. My favorite podcast, RDX.
Go wild, give us a yell, Tim.
Real deal Xbox, because of the fans and because of everyone on the panel who really is just
keeping that shit real for years.
It's just
Go wild, give us a yell, Tim.
No more yelling. No more yelling. Okay. We need to get Tim a fucking compressor for his mic.
No, I won't yell this week. I just did it for Colt on the so,
Thanks, man.
No, just very happy to be here, and much love to the community.
Hey, Immortal says, great panel, great show. Dealer in the panel, give me a shout out. Xbox Live, where you have to, follow. You can follow Immortal on Xbox Live. Actually, I follow him. He's a good dude. He's really good at gears and stuff too. Thanks for checking out the show, man. Ashtray in the chat. We've also got, hey, Drunk Man, how you doing? You still in the chat, man? You still a little drunk. Zalker, what have you been playing, buddy? And where can people find you?
I've been playing a lot of Death Stranding. I've been playing a lot of Apex. I've been playing Outer Worlds. I've been playing everything. I'm waiting for Jedi. I literally cleared my schedule. Can't wait to play. I'm gonna start Thursday night and then just go hardcore Friday. I've looked at a couple gameplay. I'm just looking forward to it. I'm probably gonna play Death Stranding tonight a little bit more and see how that goes. And tomorrow we'll see what happens. But you guys can find me at Zalker87 on Twitter and Zalker87 on YouTube, obviously making videos. And I'm happy for the chat. You guys are freaking awesome. Honestly, I love the chat, dude. These guys are awesome. They power the show, like you said, and it's true. These people are freaking cool. So,
hell yeah. I mean, right now we got almost 700 people just listening to outros, man. It's crazy. So, Kevin Bacon, thank you for the man crush, man. Timothy Dixon, do appreciate it. Shoguns. All the channel members, man. Everybody with a green name and an Xbox icon. That's what that means. They're channel members, man. If you want to become a channel member, help the channel out for $5 a month. You can do that. What is that? Like a fucking hamburger or some shit these days. So hit that join button and show your support there if you happen to give a fuck. We also got Aaron in the super chats. Hit me up on Xbox. Then Flowing Jaguar 49. I don't know if the exclamation mark's there, but check that out in the chat if you want to add Flowing Jaguar 49. That is where you can find him on Xbox Live. And again, guys, thanks for becoming channel members. Thanks for everything you do. The donations on the super chats. The patrons, absolutely fantastic patrons I have. All their names up top. All the guys I shout off at the beginning of the show. I try to give away games and all that stuff. And I'm going to try to do more streams and stuff with you guys. Here lately it's been a little crazy, and every time I do a stream, everyone's like, man, I want to be there. I've got work there. I'm sleeping or I'm across the world, and it's hard to organize it kind of stuff. So I'm going to try to figure out a different way to kind of get everybody together like that and do stuff like that. But thank you guys for what you do. It all helps. It all really helps. You guys are fantastic. So I've been playing a little bit of Death Stranding, a couple hours in on Death Stranding. Probably won't go back to it for quite a while. I've been playing Need for Speed Heat, trying to see what the fuck I'm doing because that game's so blurry. And then I'm waiting for Jedi Fallen Order, which is the game that I'm really, really excited about. Game, 60 FPS mode and all that stuff, man. So super excited for that game. Hopefully those guys knock it out of the park. It's from the creative director of God of War 3, and that game is really good. So hopefully Stig knocks it out of the park with this one too, man. Shout out to Robert Cummings. Shout out to Lethal Papa, the number one moderator here. Obi-Wan FTW, moderator of the channel. Shoguns, Ermi, all you guys in the chat. I'll sit here and shout you motherfuckers out for hours if I could. Big Gray, thank you all for what you do. Absolutely awesome. So I am going to go ahead and call it quits. We are going to call it quits. Thank you guys for showing up. And of course, if you missed it, check it out on the rerun. We'll see you guys next show.
Later.
Hey, see ya.
Randall Thor signed out twice.
Lethal's a fraud.